Hi, my name is Sheila. Welcome to the video. In order to level up, increase our productivity, become the best version of ourselves that we're trying to become, a lot of times we look to role models. We look to people who are in a certain space and we say, hey, I want to be like that, or I'm interested in how they got there because that's my ultimate goal also. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what you should be thinking about when you're planning to be in that spot. One of the things that usually trips us up from the get-go, this is the one that you hear a lot of people saying. They look at a lot of celebrities and a lot of stars and a lot of people who have reached like the highest levels in whatever their career is. And they sit back and they say, you know what, that's what I aspire to be. And I don't really want to focus on celebrities and sports. It's just easy to talk about them because everybody knows who they are, as opposed to me picking some inventor who maybe has done great things, but nobody knows who it is. So while you hear me talk about a lot of celebrities or personalities that people know a lot about, the only reason I'm doing that is so that we have a common understanding, so that I can have a conversation with you and you know who I'm talking about and what I mean. Let's go back to what I was saying about what really trips us up. And it is this idea that we look at where people are now instead of the pathway, the obstacles, the challenges, the things that they did to grow and get to that spot. Like by the time we see them, they have already put so much work in. They have probably fallen on their face so many times. They have probably said to themselves, you know what, I want to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't take it. It's not worth it. I'm done. We don't see all of that. We don't see the pain, the fear, the guilt, the struggles. We just see that end product. And so we focus on that end product and we try to figure out how we can be that end product based on looking at them at that time. And we don't understand that there have been years and years and years of practice and work that has gone into putting that person there. There's a journey, and it's called life. We forget about that when we start thinking about where we want to be because we envision the end product. It's sort of like deciding that I'm going to cook, an elaborate meal for dinner. You don't just walk in and say, okay, so here's the meal, here's the final product. You got to figure out what you're going to serve. You got to figure out the ingredients that you need, the utensils and pans and all of those things that go along with it. You may have to go shopping to grocery stores that you had never been to before, because the ones that you usually go to, maybe they don't even carry some of the things that you need. You may find that you need to go online and order certain kinds of spices. Meanwhile, the chef who's been doing this for years already has a fully stocked kitchen with all of those spices, already knows like what's the best temperature to use, how to slice something after it's cooked, how long you should let something sit. Like they already know that because they have spent years practicing and honing their skills around making this very elaborate dinner with all of these great foods. I haven't, So that's the big challenge for us when we're trying to figure out how do we get to that spot. We need to stop focusing on the end spot and start going back and looking at the path that they took. Venus and Serena Williams, well known for how well they have performed as tennis players, and then also because they were sisters, and it's not something you see a whole lot. Recently, the movie came out, King Richard, played by Will Smith, and of course, it was sort of based on, how he helped rear them and build them as a team who were going to excel in playing tennis. So as we sort of think about that end spot, if you go back and look at people who've excelled, you will find that they usually have someone in their life who has pushed them to be the very best. For whatever reason, a lot of times those may be parents, they may be guardians, they may be someone in your community. If you think back, sometimes you may have heard someone say, if it had not been for Mrs. Best, she saw something in me and she pushed me day after day after day to start doing better because she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Usually when you surround yourself with people like that, especially people who are older than you are, have more experience than you have the wisdom to understand that it does take practice over and over again to get to the highest level of performance. You're never going to get there by just showing up every once in a while. Those people, having those people in your life, that is the difference between being mediocre and being someone who is excelling at a high level of performance. When you start to look around at who's in your life, those are the kinds of questions you should be asking yourself. Like, is everybody in my life, are these people that are just kind of mediocre with everything that they're doing? And if so, I have now let that become my standard. Now, let me put a big asterisk here because people will get upset and be like, oh, you're telling me that, I can't hang around certain kinds of people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you truly want to excel and become a star in your life, a star performer, a person who excels in the things that they are interested in, not all these other people, but what you are interested in, then you have to take stock of who you're surrounding yourself with. And are those people lifting you up and supporting you? Are you around those kinds of people? Are you giving that back? Or are you constantly surrounding yourself with people who are bringing you down, who are not helping you see the star that you are, but they're trying to dim your light? Usually that's because they've got some issues. But start to assess who you have in your life, who you are surrounding yourself with. If you're saying, I have this goal of one day doing this, and this is how I'm going to get there, and these are the people that I can see I want to network with, I want to get to know, I want to follow them on YouTube or Instagram. I'm buying the books that they're writing because I want to learn more about doing that well. Now that we've sort of talked about the who and the importance of having these people around you and being open to what they're saying, the next thing is keeping in mind the challenges that you're going to face. We all face challenges. The difference is, when you fall down, do you get back up? Or do you fall down and you just say, I quit. I'm not going to do this anymore. This is too hard. It's too difficult. I don't have the right resources or money or look. Do you continue to just find ways to tell yourself why you can't do something? Or do you start to understand, okay, it's just another challenge. I'm being challenged today, but what am I going to do to learn from that and move on? We are all going to face obstacles. So when you find these people, where you're saying, I want to be like them, I want to be the star in my life, in that profession, and I've found them, understand that they went through challenges also. One of the things that you may want to take a look at is going back to see how they talk about how they got from where they were to where they are now. What was the pathway? So not just, picking out the person, because I've talked about that. You want to pick out the person in whatever way that looks like, but you want to understand what the process was like. Now, everybody's process is going to be different. They may have come along 10 years ago, and things have changed a lot in 10 years, especially when you start to think about technology and the impact of social media, everybody having a smartphone and being able to create digital content just like that. You want to understand that there are going to be challenges and what some of those challenges might be. If you're going into a profession with a high entry cost, the cost of getting in and participating is really high. For instance, with the Williams sisters, a lot of people said, who can afford to pay for tennis lessons, or who can afford to go to some of these tennis matches. The same thing with golf. Who can afford the golf fees, and who can take all day long, even if you have parents who want to work with you and want to help you excel. Do your parents have that amount of time to be able to put into helping you? Traveling with you to go to places that you need to go to. There are all of those things that sometimes keep us from doing things that we really want to do. So understand that you're going to face challenges. You're going to have to ask yourself, how do I get creative about overcoming those challenges? Am I just going to give up, or can I find a way? Now there is so much information, so many apps. There are lots of different ways for you to connect with people and learn. And so it may be that there's a software program that can help you determine, what your swing looks like, or a software program that can help you better refine how you're playing the piano or something. There are lots of books now. It used to be you had to go to the library, right? Now the library is on your phone, and you can download books from a variety of sources and take those books with you because you've now downloaded them to your phone. You just have to start to frame what your success is going to look like, because it's not going to look like what that other person's success looked like. You're going to have different obstacles. There are going to be tweaks on the way that you need to come up with solutions. But one of the best ways that you can prepare yourself is to get an understanding of the challenges that those people faced. By sort of understanding what those are, and I tell clients this all the time, it's never about making everything 100% clear. The pathway is never going to be 100% clear. What you want to do is to move as many rocks and pebbles and obstacles from out of that path that, had you not taken them, they would have made you trip and fall and stumble. They would have been your challenges and obstacles. So if you can understand what that person's pathway was, that person's pathway to becoming the star, the person who's excelling in whatever profession it is, and you can see what their obstacles were, maybe you can go ahead and start to remove some of those rocks and pebbles and obstacles out of your way. Some of them, because like I said before, you'll never be able to remove all of them. There are things that will pop up that nobody would have expected. And the world is just a changing place every single day. So you have to learn to be flexible and adapt to a changing environment. The more that you can prepare yourself for obstacles, the better off you'll be. Now let me talk about something a little different from the obstacles in our path, these sort of things that pop up, to us developing the mental fortitude and stamina to be able to be on a path that long. Most of the time, we think someone's an overnight success because we just found out about them. We just learned about them. And these people have likely been doing things for a while. They just did not develop that skill overnight. That rarely is the circumstance. Usually it's just they've blown up, or we think they've blown up because all of a sudden there's a lot of media and hype. And now they're in the news, they're trending, and we think, oh, that person was an overnight success. That's doubtful. That person had a pathway, that person had some obstacles, it took them some time to get there. You just don't know what that pathway was. But if that's someone that you're interested in, even if it's this person who looked like they blew up overnight, you can still go back and take a look at what the challenges were that they faced. But understand that you have to figure out a way to keep going even when you don't want to go anymore. If you're really truly committed, you have to say to yourself, what am I going to do even when I don't want to do it? What do I have to do? What do I need to do? What am I required to do in order to get to that spot that I claim to want to be in? I hear a lot of people, who come to me and say, this is what I want to do, this is my plan, but the follow through, it's the follow through. I don't doubt that their heart is in it, that is truly what they want to do. what I think happens a lot of times is, number one, they did not understand the challenges that they were going to face. And number two, they have not placed themselves in a position to have the mental stamina to keep going when it gets hard, when it gets ugly, when they don't want to do it anymore. That is the difference between someone who just has dreams and someone who hits their dreams and then excels at them. That's the difference. So I hope this video makes a whole lot of sense to you. I hope you get something out of this idea about how do I need to reach, my star potential? How do I increase my productivity? What are the things that I need to focus on? Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and peace. Mwah.